Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about The Crisis of Authority by Hannah Arendt. Now, before I go into the summary and analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. All right, The Crisis of Authority. Very interesting work here. What Hannah Arendt is saying here is that authority is gone. And she says, in the modern era, when you look at how governments are shaped, how societies are shaped, think about Europe, think about America, think about the Western world. Religion doesn't hold the power that it once held. People believed, especially before the 1960s, religion was very powerful. The family was very strong. Teachers were respected. People in positions of authority were respected. Society um, shared the same beliefs. Christianity was very well known in a lot of countries around the world. And freedom existed, but we can say that freedom existed inside of Christianity because so many people, especially in America, shared the same values about family, about children, about work, about life, about um, the realities that are in the Bible. But now, today, with the world that we live in, and I would say since the 1960s, the world has completely changed. People question authority. People question the church. People question religion. People question people in politics, presidents, governments, and from Europe to America to all around the world. People don't just take what the government has to say or people in power have to say with absolute authority anymore. People are very skeptical nowadays. They don't take things for how they are. In the past, authority with monarchies, in Rome and different empires and kingdoms, authority was just authority. What the ruling body said is what you did. Um, and it wasn't just authority with might or power, it was authority because everybody believed in one certain thing and they just obeyed from that authority. Now, she makes a distinction. She really clearly tells us that power, coercion, violence, that's not authority. Authority is when people naturally, it's like something that's greater that they know. Because, like, when it came to tradition and religion, you believed in somebody because of religion and tradition, because, I mean, it was connected to God. That's why religious authority was very powerful because, you're thinking about your soul, you're thinking about existence, you're thinking about afterlife, you're thinking about things that are beyond human existence. So that type of authority was absolute because your soul was, in question. Tradition, it was, a nation moving together as one. So these things connected people. But nowadays, that's not the case anymore. People don't have the same types of beliefs. Some people are religious, some people are Christian, some people are coming from different religion. And, when you don't have authority in a society, it's really hard to make decisions. It's really hard to move as one. That's why America nowadays is so polarizing, because there's so many camps that believe in different things and so many groups that believe in different things. That's why sometimes, especially in 2025 now, um, politics feels like a powder keg, because there's so many groups that have different beliefs. And there was once a time in America where everybody was just Christian. That was just the dominant culture, the dominant religion. But now that's not the case. Some people believe in nothing. Some people believe in Christianity still. It's still a Christian country, but it's not an absolute 100% thing anymore. And when you don't have a clear central force, or not force, she makes that very clear. Hannah Arendt makes that very clear within this work. But when you don't have a body or a governing body that has true authority, You really don't know who's in charge, and everybody's being questioned, and it's not really great for stability. Because if you want order, if you want society to function how it's supposed to function, you need order, you need stability, you need discipline. That's why I look at America today in 2025. I mean, there's school shootings, there's all types of shootings, there's all types of people getting hurt, there's all types of people moving on their own because of freedom. There's violence everywhere, guns, bombs, and so many different types of movements. I mean, we're in 2025, and you know, politicians are getting attacked. There have been assassination attempts on people in government, and that's increasing in 2025. So in the 2020s, we're seeing political violence, um, get um, extreme. It's becoming extreme. So that says a lot about the modern way that government is being run in America and in other countries as well. So violence is going up, coercion is going up, and the respect and discipline and order that used to be around is just simply not around anymore. In terms of deeper meaning and analysis here, this is just a very complex topic. It has a lot of layers in it, but I would agree with Hannah Arendt here. I believe that the authority that once existed in America before the 1960s, I'm going to add that in. That's my 2 cents on the matter. That's my opinion on the matter. I believe that before the 1960s, um, in terms of religion, not in all subjects, but in terms of religions, in terms of authority, it was a very different country, and people had different. The respect level was very different. I think after 1960s, with all differing opinions and different camps and different groups and different political ideals, things have changed, and it's a different landscape, and you're seeing some shaky governing bodies that don't have authority, and so they have to use manipulation, coercion, force, and persuasion to get things done. And it's definitely made a very interesting landscape in terms of governance, power, um, and I guess this modern era definitely have its own version of authority that doesn't really rely on true authority, as Hannah Arendt would say within her work here. That's all I had to say about this. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.